Yeah, the poultry today, by all standards, is the most successful aspect of the livestock industry in the country, and simply because it has got the required environment, very, very enabling environment to operate, and the single most important factor for that was the availability of feed. The feed millers, they are all over the country. And then for the feed millers too, the amount of grains in the country that we used to grow before, up till now. So there was initially importation of maize, soybean, other constituents, other additives and the rest of them. But by and large, the agricultural sector has done very well to support the feed milling business. And recently that we've had challenges in terms of price spikes, etc. That has led to a number of challenges facing the poultry industry. Many farms across the country have closed because they couldn't compete very well. And that has also led to the escalation in the cost of eggs and etc., and broiler birds. Now, this is what is happening, but we do believe that the future is bright, in the sense that if you see the bumper harvest this year, I don't have the statistics, I wouldn't go into that, but I do believe that, of course, yeah, people are saying that most of the grains have been exported. People earn foreign exchange. It's a business. So if the demand is high, it will trigger more production so that the poultry industry can fight its feet. But we do believe that this is something that we need to sit down and look at in terms of what do we need to do to encourage more grain production in terms of farm inputs, extension services, soft loans for farmers, etc., etc. And my senior counterpart in Ministry of Agriculture, I think the last time we met, we had some discussions along this line, and we do believe that in the next rainy season, we'll see a different radical change from what used to happen. Because it's a process of learning from trends and then understanding the weaknesses, mitigating them, understanding the strength, and then building on top of those ones.
Talking about weaknesses, for the poultry business, for example, you know, a lot of Nigerians would say the fact that the poultry business thrives just anywhere. You rent a one-bedroom, you have a poultry business behind, I mean, and all the health risk and all of that. And then for those who are in it, they say that there are all kinds of medication, I don't know, you can tell me, or feed or whatever it is, that makes the poultry birds bigger than usual, just in a bit to get more, but health-wise, there's a challenge. Do you intend to regulate these businesses? I mean, that has to do with the livestock industry, just so that our health is prioritized at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think 2 days ago we had a meeting with the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, and this matter came up in the front burner. And not only poultry, our intention here today is to look at the general health and veterinary aspects of our livestock. And there are a lot of issues there. And I do believe that if you look at a lot of endemic diseases in the country, and that is not only related, I mean, isolated to poultry, it covers the whole gamut of the industry. So I do believe that people are not using steroids. Nobody is using steroids. But nonetheless, the general aspect of health is important. There are incidences of substandard drugs. I don't want to go deep into that because some of them could be sub judice. We need to go into that, and by going into that, we need to regulate the kind of drugs that come into this country. But even before doing that, we want to surgically look at Nigerian Veterinary Research Institute in Vomjos to build their capacity so that they can supply all the vaccines that we require in this country. Once that is assured, there will be no room for substandard drugs. That is key. The next one we want to do through the Nigerian Veterinary Council is to build capacity for because all the poultry farmers have the association, Poultry Association of Nigeria. It can be Abuja, it can be Imo, it can be Lagos, it can be Kano, it can be Adamawa. There are poultry associations all over. And through those associations, we want to reach the members to build their capacity so that people get into ethical and value-driven poultry business management, because it borders on public health. We also want to go back to what used to happen in the 60s and 70s in terms of meat inspectors. Animals, particularly large animals, will not be slaughtered, and they are certified, healthy, with all record of injection and vaccinations, After the slaughtering, there will be meat inspection and certification, and then we also want to introduce traceability. If, for instance, you buy a portion of meat and get back to your kitchen and you find something that is unwholesome, we should be able to trace that meat to the cow and from the cow to the ranch it is coming from. It's a tall order, but Nigerians lived with that in the 60s and 70s. So, and that's an avenue for creating more jobs and getting value for what you are buying as a consumer. So meat, food borders on public health. If there's an outbreak, if you can't trace it, then the wider society is at risk. And you need people to take responsibility for what they are bringing to the market. This is what we mean by international standard. And without those sanitary conditions and inspection protocols, your meat will not be satisfied for export. Earlier on, there are many countries that want import meat from Nigeria. But without those conditions, you can't be certified. So this is what we mean by creating an enabling environment for both local and foreign investors to come in and invest so that we can export. So precisely this is it. It covers all of them. I mean, if you want to export, for instance, mutton, goat meat, you can't just sweep the streets, process goats, and say you want to take it outside this country. No. It has to be on a controlled environment, on a farm, with a good management practice, with all the protocols, all the injections are recorded, and the goats, there is no residue of any chemical in the body of the animal. That's what we mean by meat inspection and certification. If you slaughter a cow and you find a lump of residue, chemical residue, no, it's not fit for human consumption. Even if you can boil it to 1,000 degrees, and at that level you would have killed all the nutrients. So this is what we're saying, borders of public health. And that is the concern of this administration, that we are not realizing full value from animal resources. And therefore, we need to modernize that sector to be at par with the international practices. And we can do it.
All right.